Yeah, girl. Addie's back in the shop. Oh, sorry, said her name. I'm waking her up from all her hard work. The slumbers, the precious slumbers. We should all be so lucky. Well, Addie's gonna sleep, but we're gonna do a valve adjust and an oil change on this, which is a 1982 Mercedes 300TD Diesel-Benz Wagon. I mean, the Diesel-Benz Wagon part, that's not the official model. The model is the 300TD, but it's a wagon. So it's a 300TD wagon, and then I said Diesel-Benz Wagon at the end. The 1982 Mercedes-Benz Diesel-Benz Wagon, 300TD, rear-wheel drive, automatic, with S for slope. Boom, right? You gotta have a slope mode. If you don't know what slope mode is, you haven't driven one of these yet. There's an S on the gear shift, and it stands for slope. Not sport. It's not a sport mode. It's a slope mode. If you're going up a slope, that's what that S is for. You gotta have slope mode. It's not slow mode. That's what the car's normally in. 300TD wagon is always in slow mode, despite having a turbo. It's not as fast as a Greyhound. Never will be. Eddie doesn't like slow mode. All right, the AC's back on. So we got wind noise. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the sound quality. The wind noise. Oh my gosh, it's shaking the walls of my basement. I can't watch this video anymore. There's wind noise. Please don't turn it off. Like and subscribe. Leave it run. Leave it run when you're not home. Anything. Anything. Have mercy on me. I need to send her to college. She knows nothing. Let's get into it. All right. This is how you adjust the valves. Now the valves are adjusted. Don't worry about changing the oil. You connect a strap to this with a little clip. Take it out to where some grass is. It automatically changes the oil. You know what Addie's view is today? Let me show you what Addie's view is. Here we have Addie, and here we have Addie's view. Oh yeah. Ah yes, Mercedes OM617. It has to be one of the most legendary diesel engines ever produced. A workhorse among workhorses. It's up there with the Cummins 12 valve and the other famous diesel engines, like the Cummins 12 valve and the Mercedes OM602 and the it's one of the best diesel engines. All right? Of the like millions of diesel engines there actually are. Because all kidding aside, there's a lot of diesel engines out there. This is 10 valves of blazing glory. You're not going anywhere fast. But who needs fast when you got smooth and torque? Boy, let me tell you, torque. So, the whole point is that this is a million-mile workhorse of an engine. This is a god in a landscape of engines where gods don't exist. This is the Zeus of diesels. I don't know what that makes the 12 valve. Mercury? Maybe Ars? Or Mars? I guess Ars was the Greek version, right? Mars was the Roman one. Okay, anyway, enough about gods. This engine is incredible. It's also very mechanical. Most of the diesel engines that are incredible are mechanical. First thing you want to do when you're going to adjust the valves, because that's what we're doing. I got all sidetracked with Greek and Roman gods and mythology. We're going to pull the hood down a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. We're going to put the hood into service mode. Doink! Pull that little tab back. Wait until it escapes what it's under. Don't pinch your fingers while you're doing it. And then this side, pull this little tab back here and push the hood up further than a hood should go. And there you go. Now the grill's out of your way. This grill isn't in this grill. And you can think and see and breathe clearly. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the PCV breather to the air cleaner right here, because we're taking this valve cover off. This one's hose clampified. We're just going to swing that out of the way. We're going to try not to lose that hose clamp. Make sure it's retained on there. There's a rubber lip on the bottom, so it's going to retain that. Next thing we're going to do, mark our vacuum ports. So you remember what goes where, right? Because you don't want to lose track of any of that information, because that'd be bad. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to disconnect a bunch of linkages, because we want to take the valve cover off. I think I already said that about 500 million times. So this is a panel popper, right? Panel poppers are good. They can be used for more than one thing. Every tool can be used for more than one thing. We're going to use this panel popper to pop the Heim joints off of the accelerator linkage and the stop linkage. Give a little upward tweak. Pops the linkage right off. This one's got to get disconnected. We'll pop that one off. Go ahead and pop this off. This is your cruise control module. And if you pinch both sides of the plastic, you can pop it out of there, so you don't have to mess with your adjustment. And then your cruise control is disconnected. Will it stay out of the way? It won't stay out of the way. We'll just leave it hang out there. Then you're done with your panel popper dingy. Dingy thingy. Thingy-dangy. Just making sure that everything is nice and release-ified from here. I use my little panel popper, slide this little piece off, and that should allow me to pull that linkage apart. There's this little capture clip on this little rod. I know you guys are way back far away. You know what I should do? I should help you out, give you an in-glasses view. All right, so here's what we're looking at. This little guy here, and this bracket is mounted here, and I was thinking like, how do I want to go about this? Do I want to pop all this free? Because you can just unbolt all this off the valve covering. Yoink it out of the way, but then you got to do that too. I was just going to leave it bolted on. In the past, I honestly can't remember what I did, because I see these diesel Benzes once in a while, and of course I own one, but I don't drive it all that often, as in I don't drive it. So we'll see if that gave me enough there. Means I'll have to pop that one free as well. Beautiful. And when the time comes and the valve cover's free, I might be able to slide it off of there. And if not, I'll have to loosen some brackets. Next up, valve cover mounting bolts. 13mm nuts. I should say they're not bolts, they're nuts. Get down in here. Give it a little old hand. Finger loosening. Nothing underneath them. At least not on this one. Might have wave washers on another one, but not on this one. There's a hidden one back here. And then we just keep going down the line. Loosen them up wherever you see them. You know, I think I am just going to take this bracket off. Doesn't seem to be worth it to leave it on. Gotta grab some Allens and pop that sucker off of there. I think we're talking about 5 mil. Fair enough. just discovered that this bracket is actually missing a retainer clip. There's supposed to be a clip on here to hold this in place. It's missing that entirely. So we'll put one on there when we put it back together. But for now, I'm going to set that aside, pop this last joint. Now our throttle linkage is all out of the way there. I mean, not out of the way, out of the way enough. And now we can lift our valve cover up. A little wiggle wobble. There aren't many studs holding it down, but the ones that are kind of spaced sort of funny, so you gotta give it a really nice straight pull up, I guess. Okay, got the valve cover off of there. It's got a fun valve cover gasket. Goes all the way around it. We're not reusing this, but I'm just popping it on here again because it's fun and nice and clean in here. We got a couple of flies on the outside, but set that down so it can have fun over there on its lonesome. We're in valve train. Should probably give you guys another close-up view on this. This is a very clean one too, and so here's the deal. When your cam lobes, well, let me get into the glasses. Let me wash my hands. Let me do a lot of things. All right, so here's the deal on this. The cam lobe needs to point upward, and then you can put a feeler gauge underneath it, and you can adjust your valves from there. So any one of these cam lobes that's pointed up is one that you can adjust. This one's actually over center. Anything that's not, you can't adjust, okay? Here we go. This is what we got, cheat sheet. And you can mark on this cheat sheet once you've adjusted one, you can give it a checkbox or whatever. So from the front here with the pulley, we've got exhaust, intake. Then number 2, we've got intake, exhaust. Then number 3, we've got exhaust, intake. And then we've got intake, exhaust. Then we've got exhaust, intake. It's kind of like a musical scale, like whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Anyway, again, just for those of you at home following along, exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust, exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust, exhaust, intake. Yeah, did it from front to ye old backside. Now, a couple other things this cheat sheet has on it from the manual, right? It's got cold adjustment of your valves, which we're doing this cold, stone cold. The car's been sitting for a day or so. 4 thousandths on the intake, okay? And 12 thousandths to 13 thousandths on the exhaust. So there you have it. Here's where we're going to start with our valve adjustment. Right here. 1/2 inch drive, 27 millimeter on the main pulley bolt. Let me show you the length of socket I have, because you can see it comes pretty close to the fan here, right? And there's this fan bracket guard shield plate, and it's pretty tight space, but you want to turn the engine over. You don't want to have to take this off. You don't want to have to take that off. You don't want to have to do a lot of disassembly, right? What you need is a socket that is the exact right size. It's a little bit of a game getting it in there and getting it out of there. This socket is the exact right size. This one happens to be one of them Harborist Freight Pittsburgh ones, and let me get you a length on it, because that's going to help you out the most, right? If you're doing this at home, if you're following along and you're not just using this for entertainment purposes, which I highly suggest that you don't do, just use it for entertainment purposes. Don't try and do your own work at home. Let someone else do that. No, I'm just kidding. We're at 3 inches. We're at 3 inches on this socket. All right, so you get your 3-inch model socket out there. Not 3.5, not 3 1/4, 3 inches. 3-inch, 27 millimeter socket. Fish it up and in. Fish it up around, over and through, past the plastic, around the fan. Kind of play with the fan a little bit there. This is a 6-point socket, so it's going to take a moment to index on that bolt. I'm feeling for it.
falls into place, and look at that. It rides perfectly between the fan and just past. That's why 3 inches, right? Because you're just past that external pulley wheel for the vacuum pump. All right, so that's why. Boom, boom, gap. You can turn your engine over now by hand. You don't have to bump it on the starter. Hey, this is novel. All right, so now let's go to the top side.
Got some pads on the floor for myself. And here we go. This is the real bear of doing this, is the up, down, up, down. And if you have a friend, you can have them help you with all of this so that there's less guesswork involved, right? And I've been able to do it with my shoe a couple of times, like hook my shoe on the wrench underneath there, but all right, we're not quite pointed north yet. So I'm gonna kneel down. I'm gonna see if I can do it from right here without cutting my arm on the license plate, because that's sort of right in the way. All right, I got the wrench in my hand. I do have my arm against the license plate in a way that feels like it's gonna slice me. And there's a little bit of a movement, and we're still not there with the valve. Need it pointed up. I mean, it's pointed up, but it's up at an angle. We want it up and not at an angle, so there we go. Another small bump. There's a massive wasp in here. Just scared the ever-loving diesel out of me. Okay, we're pointed due north. Well, isn't that exciting? Here we go. Get out the old feeler gauges.
These are fun wrenches. And these ones are made by Mercedes Source, I think. Is where you can grab these for your own self. And they're nice. They're good wrenches. They're bent so that you can do the valves. You can undo the adjusting nut and the lock nut and make your adjustments.
All right, my beautiful people. I have changed your perspective because I decided that you were a little bit too far away. So now you're up there. You got the bird's eye view. I've gone ahead and I've rotated over, and we are on the intake valve of cylinder number 3, which is this one back here. And we're gonna go ahead and make an adjustment to that valve now. That's an intake valve, so it's gonna be at a 4/1000ths adjustment. Here's my 4/1000ths feeler gauge. Here we go with the wrenches. Now, the wrench on the bottom, this first wrench, closest to the valve's spring retainer, is going to be your lock nut. The wrench on top is going to be your adjusting nut. You're going to separate these two wrenches to loosen things. And then once you've loosened, you can begin to make your adjustments from there. So, I've got it loosened up here. I'm going to slide my feeler gauge in, and I actually had pre-loosened this, so we're going to see, it's probably going to be pretty dang loose. So we're going to see where we're at. It's not too loose. It's a reasonable feel, but it could be a little bit snugger. So that's going to be a little too snug, somewhere right about there. That feels good. Now 4/1000ths, it's a very thin amount. So we're gonna, when we lock it, we're pushing them together. We're gonna have to play with this and make sure that these two kind of stay in the same spot. It can be pretty difficult to get a nice lock on a 4/1000ths amount. So that's ultra stiff, that's too tight on there. And this is the tricky part about adjusting valves on this particular engine, is getting them locked down, setting the adjustment correctly. So sometimes people recommend that you use 2 people. That will help. A lot of times you can just do it on your own, and you just got to keep moving the feeler gauge back and forth here. We're really close to it right here. The problem with 4/1000ths is it's a very thin feeler gauge, and it's very apt to crinkling or wrinkling. So this actually is feeding in here with just the lightest little bit of drag to it. So if I can get it to refeed in there, we should be okay. Yep, we're feeding in just fine. Scoot, scoot. Make sure we're locked down. Yep. And that's going to be 4/1000ths on that one. When you're at the right spot, you're at the right spot. Can mark that off on my sheet, and move on to the next one. So, what's next? What's next is we're going to rotate the engine over again, and we're going to go to the next valve that's ready to come towards pointing north, which is going to be this valve here, which is going to be the exhaust valve of number 2. So we're starting off, we've got exhaust, intake, and then intake exhaust. This is the next one that in clockwise rotation is going to be adjustable. So we've already got this one adjusted to 4 thousandths. Now we're going to adjust this one to 12 or 13 thousandths. And that looks like it's pretty straight up and down in my eye. Oh, needs a little more rotation. We're looking at this one, and I'm going to give it just a bump over more. And then when it's straight up and down, we'll go in with the feeler gauge and see where it's at. Hopefully that's it. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't believe it's over rotated. It looks like it's pretty dead nut straight up and down. So we should be good to go there. So now we've got cylinder number 5 pointed up. This is the exhaust of 5. We're already done with the intake of 5. Check the 13 thousandths. Too light. 12 thousandths is going to be sloppy loose. Sloppy loose. Let's go ahead and make our adjustment. See what angle we can get on the lock nut with. Can't get it with that wrench. See about this wrench. What angle we can get at. Yeah, there we go. Get on that lock nut down there. See what angle we can get at with this. Perfect. We're going to spread it open. Loosening that lock nut. Turning the two apart. It might be hard to get at that lock nut from there. We can leave that lock nut based there. And then we're going to go ahead and tighten. We're going to use the 12. And we're going to go ahead and tighten up on this. Again, breaking free from that lock nut. That's not going to be tight enough. Might have to switch wrenches up. Put this one on the lock nut if I can. It can be hard to get the right angle on some of this stuff. Get this down here. Let's see about that. Ooh, that made a pretty big adjustment. That's going to be too tight. Yep, accidentally bumped the adjuster. So, I have to come up top, back it off with this wrench. We can get right in on it there. So right there it holds. That would be kind of ideal. So now it's a matter of tightening it up. This is one of the harder ones to adjust because of where the cam tower is. Okay, I can get on it there, and that means I can, tighten up as best I can here on that lock nut. So we're gonna see what we can do. If need be, I could grab a regular wrench as well and see what we can get, but what we might have to do is sort of tighten the two against each other. Play that game of turning. Try and see if we can get it perfect. Because they are just in no man's land, as you can see, for lining up. I can kind of get that. So let's see if I can get this. Get on there with that one. Get almost... Oh, look at that. We've got them tightened up. Question is, are we in a good spot? The answer is it's very loose. 13 goes in as well, so we need to go a little tighter. Sort of stinks because there's not much room to go tighter, but let's try this. See what we got. Ooh, that might be good. 13 doesn't... 13 just goes with a hard push. Too hard a push. So we're at like probably 12.8 on this. Because this one is so hard to adjust with where the wrench flats are, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to call it even with our other exhaust ones, because that's really about as good as we're going to get on that. Make sure I've got it tight. The two are tightened against each other, and they are. And then get them out of there. Double check again, because that was a tight space. 12 is great. 13.
13 goes, but very tightly. Very tight amount of drag on 13. Because the range is 12 to 13, and that's in such no man's land, we're going to call it good on exhaust of cylinder number 5.
So what do we know? What have we learned? This, best diesel engine that was ever made. Adjusting the valves, start with the cam lobe pointed up, and then just spin the engine over until you have gone through all the upward pointed cam lobes, and put feeler gauges in. Be sure that you're picky about it and you get them exactly how you want them to be, and make sure that you bust at least a thumb knuckle or a couple of knuckles opening and closing the wrenches so that you feel good about life. And it's pretty straightforward job is basically what I'm saying here. It's a beautiful car. This is a really beautiful car, and this is a really beautiful engine. We've got a few more things to do on this. Got to change the oil filter. Obviously have to put the valve cover back on, button up all the little titty bits. What'd I say? And all the tidbits. Got to remember to put a clip on the piece that was missing the clip. So we're gonna add one in on that, clip it. And gosh, gee whiz, golly wolly, I don't know. We just might fire it over after we put some oil in it. John Diesel, man. What an inventor. What a mind. Not a good swimmer. Okay, that was too far. That was too far. Too soon. Too soon. Too soon. Rest in peace. Back on the Benzie, baby. We're just gonna get some black diesel oil all over our hands. Gonna have some fun. I'm gonna clean up where the valve cover mates, because oftentimes a lot of debris, as the British would like to say, happens to get down in here. And you get dead bugs. That's what I found mostly on this one. A lot of dead boogs. Which, you know, I work on a lot of Volkswagen Beetles, so it's just mildly offensive that another German car would kill bugs like this. But it is possibly a more reliable platform of vehicle. Possibly, I said possibly. Don't get your underwear in a ruffle. I think the world knows that at this point. I think the world knows that the Mercedes-Benz OM617 is arguably one of the most reliable things on earth. If you don't believe me, go look up the episode of Top Gear, where those lovely British boys basically blow up one of the Benz wagons. I think it's a wagon, it might be a sedan. Maybe it's a sedan. I don't know. They put a small detonation under this engine block, and despite having some burnt wiring, it still runs. We're almost there. It's important to clean this surface. It is just a machine flat cylinder head surface, so it's really important to get it cleaned all the way up. Now we're in a good overall spot for putting the valve cover back on. Here is said valve cover, or the Latin name Valvios Coverete. And we're going to set that old gasket aside. Clean up this lower mating surface to the gasket, bottom of the valve cover, lovely edge. Now if you want to get cheeky about it, make your car look really clever, you can actually polish this, because this entire valve cover is aluminum. And, oh wait, are we being British? It's aluminium. And if you clean it all up, make it all happy and fancy, then you have this like really pretty crown jewel piece just right in the center of the engine, and it looks like one of them Ferrariers. Anyway, Rolls-Royce did the same thing for a while, like that shiny stuff. All right, here we go. Same as the OEM provider. Might as well be Mercedes. It just says Victor Reinz on it. Victor Reinz. Victor Reinz. Victory in Europe. Got a, shape and a shape, and you put the two shapes together. This is not rocket science, people. This does not get any sort of, I would normally do this on my workbench, but I don't want to have to reset the camera. So this does not get any sort of sealant on it. Don't go doing that. Don't go putting sealant on this. This just gets pressed into place, and it's the proper material for the job. Just make sure you have a nice quality gasket, like the OEM gasket or the OEM equivalent, which would be either Miele or Victor Reinz or Mercedes-Benz. Those are your options, okay? Don't go doing any national whatever. Leave them do the muscle cars. You just negotiate this on with thumb and fingers, and make sure that you're seated all the way around. Okay, push it all the way down on here. I don't know why I'm doing this as like a tutorial. Anybody who's working on their own 617 already knows all this. So, but if you're new to it, if you just got one of these, or if you're thinking about getting one, and you're thinking, well, I'm a handy guy, and I want to do my own valve adjust and oil changes, well, then there you go. That's what this is for. For the most part, this is just for fun. All right, it's nice and flat. Surface is nice and clean. Some oil dripped down. You guys can't see it, but I can see it. Dripped right off the cam. And I mean, if there's a little bit of oil on this mating surface, this gasket is just gonna enjoy it. Gasket dry, mating surface dry. Don't go monkeying around with any sort of silicone sealants and stuff. You're only gonna cause leaks. You don't want that. You want it dry. Dry, dry, dry. Angle it down because you've got to get it under these hoses, the fuel hoses for the injectors. Just a little bit, not a lot. Just enough to get past. The biggest problem is right here, this hose is just a little right here, a little bit short. Let me show you a technique I just developed for putting the valve cover on after a good couple of seconds of anger. Figured that up front here, it's kind of hard to clearance this whole shape of the valve cover. So if you start at a little bit of an angle, start to drop it down on there, and then kind of bring it proper and get it down, you gotta pay extra care and attention, avoid all these fuel hoses. I've pulled that one out of the way as best I can. These other ones are shorter. I'm gonna have to pull them out of the way as it drops in. And you gotta try and clear all the hard lines, and obviously your accelerator linkage. You could zip tie it out of the way. I'm just gonna curse at it. So, but here you go. Putting this on like this and then righting it, okay? So, a little bit of an angle. We're hung up on this accelerator linkage, and then you can see it starts to go into place. Get these fuel lines pulled out of the way. More or less lined up with our bolts. More or less. And then last thing you want to do is you just want to visually check the gasket and make sure that everything is square and flush on it all the way around. I'm visually, but I'm also doing it by feel here, just to make sure that that gasket hasn't pulled off there in any way, shape, or form. You want that flush and flat, and you can go straight down with the valve cover. Pop these fuel hoses back up, and they're in good shape there. And then the valve cover's down. I got to put some bolts on that, but the dog's hollering at me for the morning walk. So, back in a second. Bolts for the valve cover. Morning walk was good, by the way. The dog is happy. So that's good. Happy for now. Now, when you're bolting up this valve cover, first of all, you make sure that the surface and the gasket are both very clean, okay? I maybe downplayed that a little bit, but after doing this a few times on different vehicles, never mind that. There's a big bug flying around the shop. After doing this a few times on a few different ones of these 300 TDs, you find that it's imperative to have the surface be clean. I've never really had problems with it, but other people always report that they're having issues with the sealing of this valve cover. And so, you know, get out your acetone, get out your Q-tips if you need, get it all cleaned up. Here's the deal. 15 Newton meters is the factory torque spec for the valve cover. However, that's because it's an aluminum cast valve cover and you don't want to crack it. So here's where the however comes in. They're M8 by 1.25 bolts, studs with M8 by 1.25 13 millimeter on the flat nuts, okay? All of that essentially means that the torque is about how fragile this valve cover is and not spreading it or over torquing it or crushing it or cracking it, all of that. People have found that you can go all the way up to 25 Newton meters on this and get a better seal. I have found from other vehicles as well that a cast aluminum cover like this can take 25 Newton meters if you want, but I like to put it at 20. 5 above the factory spec. I know. Oh my gosh, the Mercedes engineers, they know so much. Look, we're 5 Newton meters over. Now, a Newton meter is one of those little square wheat crusted fig bars. So you're only going 5 of those Newton meters over. I think that's how it works. Fig Newton meters, the inventor of torque. So if I press my little conversion button here, it's 14.75 foot-pounds, okay? And that's how many pounds you can press on it with your foot. So please don't even humor me. Just throw these jokes in the garbage bin. They're awful. It's early in the morning, okay? Sounds like Addie's gotten riled up. You riled up, darling? She's a little riled up. Want me to take the muzzle off you? Okay. Okay. Come on. You overheating? What's going on? What's going on? We're overheating a little bit. You want a fan? You want a fan? Go lie down. I get you the fan. Here we go. Fan time. Yeah. Go ahead, lie down. Fan's gonna feel nice. Is that good for you? Look, even if I told you what I just got done doing, you wouldn't believe me. Had to take a long break in the process here, and so I actually wound up torquing these valve cover bolts down earlier. I'm going to show you the pattern that I do for it, but the valve cover is actually already torqued because I didn't want to leave it loose while I did a bunch of things. But literally, I loaded the most massive air compressor with the help of some of my neighbors here in a forklift and some other things. And it sold. It was something that I needed to clear out of the crude inventory of random equipment that I have as an auto shop and classic car restoration place. So anyway, that air compressor sold, we loaded it, got it done just now getting back to this because I had to move a bunch of cars around and a whole bunch of things. So I start on this valve cover here with 20 Newton meters. I start with this bolt. There's only 4. I start there, I do a crossing pattern. I jump to the front, then I jump to the back, then I come back over here. So 20 Newton meters of torque on this, right like that. I'm going to come to the front bolt over here, 20 Newton meters of torque on this, right? Then I go to the back one, get on there, 20 Newton meters of torque. Okay, and then the last one here, drop onto there, 20 Newton meters of torque. All right, so what a day it's been. Man, I can't even tell you. So this whole puppy got interrupted a little bit, but now I can start to connect up all the linkage again. I can dump oil in it. I can put the PCV back to it. We can just have a general fun time of everything here. So that's what we're going to get started on doing. I'm going to start with the cruise control up top, pop that into place, and just keep on moving. Okay, I like it. Getting there. Where's there? It's somewhere. We're getting there. Somewhere over the rainbow. All right, now a couple of 13mm bolts on the oil canister, oil filter canister at the back. We'll pop that filter out of there. We're going to grab the Rainby ratchet for this one. And out. There you go. It's that simple. There's an O-ring thing around there, an orangutan. We're going to put this over here, set it off to the side, get a fresh rag. What'd you call me? Fresh rag. My goodness, diesel oil is delicious. All right, it's a diesel. Let's see. Yeah, we're drained down nice and good in there, and I'm going to wipe the top around. We'll get the new filter all lined up and set up, and pretty as a pumpkin. Pumpkin's really pretty. I mean, is that where you got a nice gourd comes from? Wait a second. Is that? You know what? Forget I said that. Here we go. New filtration and a new seal and some new little crush washers for things, and we'll have a happy time of it here. New filtration goes right down on the middle, pops down over that. Got to get that O-ring seal on there. We'll be good. So, a little dab of the old engine oil. Never hurts. Go around this O-ring. Just make sure it slides into place nice. Get it down on there. Give these some Newton meters. And we'll be able to filtrate our oil. We're going to go 25 Newton meters on these. That first stop was 20. There we go. Time to make the addition of the lubrication. We're in good shape. Okay. So that's your valve adjustment procedure in a nutshell. And now, on to the oil change part of things. The oil change part, where we put the actual change of oil in. Then we can fire this beauty up. So, filled it with 5 quarts, roughly. whatever this is, 5.28 quarts, and fired it up, which filled up the oil filter and filled up the shop with smoke, which is great. It's been a balmy day anyway. So, a little diesel smoke in the shop is just par for the course. Don't splash me in the face, thank you. And now what we're gonna do, I might as well funnel it just to be on the safe side. Now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna top it off. These go to 7.9 quarts, almost 8 quarts, but usually about 7.5 does it when you do a bone dry oil change like what we've done. So I'm gonna give it a couple and then check the stick. We'll check it there. And we'll do that a couple of times just to get fully topped off with oil. Wait a couple of moments for it all to get drained down nice and good. All right, I'm impatient. It should have hit by now. Yeah, we're on the bottom of the stick. Looks like we're a couple quarts low still. So, tell you what, we'll leave that puppy laid down there. Wait a little bit longer. What can I tell you about my day? My day is always better when I work on a Mercedes-Benz. Don't tell any of the Volkswagen Beetles that. It hasn't rained yet, but it looks like it's threatening. It's about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I'd like to go home. We got to get oil in this, fire it up, drive it off the lift, put a Beetle on the lift, put a Porsche in, put this back in, diagnose some vacuum leaks on this tomorrow, do some things on a Beetle, that kind of stuff. All right. Let's check the oil. Glad we had this talk. Makes me feel much better. Quart low. You wanna have a look? All right, that's enough. It's enough for you. You don't get any more looks. Oh yeah, we'll do a fuel filter on this tomorrow too, but we don't need it to be on the lift for a fuel filter, so gonna kind of rearrange some puppies. Take care of some things. It's always fun when you do a fresh oil change on diesel because you can see the black oil at the bottom. That's just, you know, residual still in the bottom of the oil pan, still circulating in the crate case. But then you can see the light colored, honey golden, beautiful sweetness. It's just so refreshing, floating up at the top surface level. Man, is it so smooth now after the valve adjustment. The engine is like smooth like buttercream. Like buttercream. Like the creme of the butter. This is what it's like. Checking and topping off oil. Oh, we're getting real close. We want it to be at that little jagged mark there. I mean, technically you could call it a day there, but we're not quite. Not quite there. I'd like it to be at the pinch waist indicator. What I can tell you is you'll over add if you don't wait for it to drain all the way down. It's not the thickest oil, but it's not the thinnest oil, so you want to wait. You want to give it a moment. That's why I'm taking such a long time. And I am always quite verbose, but this is exaggerated from the norm, right? Because why not? Let's see what we got. Ooh, we're right there. Yeah, buddy, I might just give it the little bit, just a splash more, but I mean, that's it. Let's get a nice in-frame shot there for you. Yeah, honestly, doesn't even need a splash more. It's dead on. That is dead on, right there, tippy topped off. I'm gonna drive it out of here. It's gonna be fun. Be nice to hear it roar to life. We'll take it out of service mode. Happy is as happy does. Happy whiz as happy was. Oh, little blue piece of towel found its way down there. Hey now, here we go. Beautiful. Doesn't get more pretty than that. I'm gonna drive it on away. And you guys can hear it purr like a kitten. That's not the purring. That's not the kitten purring yet. Give the glow plugs a moment. There you go. That's pretty purry. Check it out. That's just a light rev. I don't want to give it too much. Don't want to do anything crazy. Never want to do anything crazy. Now I know what you're thinking. That's not a Mercedes-Benz. Next victim right here. Well, isn't that cute? Well, hey, another beautiful sunny day here. And got the Mercedes-Benz 300TD OM617. Valve adjustment done, oil change done, fuel filter replaced, other miscellaneous things taken care of, diagnosed, troubleshot. And it's time to take this puppy down the road. So, as true to fashion, we've got to get a test drive in, and I want you guys all to come with me. First of all, that's what you want right there. That's what you want. Door that opens and closes that nicely. Heck yeah. The view from the cockpit. And this one has a super nice interior. It's this beautiful avocado green color with kind of a cork tan interior headliner. Avocado green headbanger. Black steering wheel. Very nice. Hey.
This is what you want right here. It's butter smooth. For me, these Mercedes-Benz 300TD wagons, they're like being on a cloud. Very slow, blown in the wind cloud. But I mean, they're not the slowest car on earth. I mean, they get up and go pretty quick, and this one is so smooth, especially after the valve adjustment. I mean, it accelerates really well. I'm not going hard into it, you know. Comes under a nice gentle amount of boost. You feel like you're in 100% control of this vehicle. And of course, you're never in control of any vehicle fully. But with the 300TD wagon, you really feel like you have a good level of control. And of course, I think one of the most precious parts about driving one of these wagons is the star. Just seeing that, and you know, pointing that thing wherever you want the car to go. It's just a really fantastic experience when you look out from this cockpit and you look out over the hood. Smooth, stable, comfortable, slope mode for going up slopes. Anytime you're about to be sloping, just pop it in a slope. That's what that S is right there. Yeah, man. 80s Mercedes.